Good morning, everybody. We're live here from the birdhouse, and today I've got an update about the different types of birds people are seeing all around town. As usual, you can put your sightings in the comments. We love to know what kind of things you are seeing. If you have questions, you can throw those in there, or you can just say hi. If you are local to the Rochester area and stopping in this weekend, we have our jigsaw puzzle swap going all weekend long. That is all day today, which is Saturday, all day tomorrow, which is Sunday. So it goes today until 6 and tomorrow 9 till 5. So that's going on all day long. And we've got a sale going on too. All Cobble Hill puzzles are 20% off. And we're having a sale on some items in the store too, half off, to make room for our new spring merchandise, which is flowing in every day. We're getting more and more boxes of stuff. So we are stocking our shelves with brand new product for the spring, which is really exciting. So stop on in because we've got all kinds of fun stuff here and some pretty good stuff on sale too. So I should also mention too, if you are looking for things to decorate your yard for this weekend, we still do have some Buffalo Bills flags and yard art and merchandise in. I'm cutting out here it's blending in with my background, but we do have some flags. We have some garden stakes. We have some yard art still. We even have some drinkware of Buffalo Bills stuff if you're looking to decorate your yard or your house for tomorrow's very big game. So we have that going on too. But let's get started. So some things to be out on the lookout for are pine siskins. So we bring up pine siskins quite a bit. They come to Niger feeders like your goldfinches do, but they are going to be more stripy in color, or stripy, and they do have some yellow on their wings. So keep an eye out for them at your Niger feeders, but then also on roadsides. Pine siskins are known to go after road salt, to eat the road salt for the minerals that are inside the salts. So they're very well known to do that. So with all these salt trucks that have been going through the areas, even depending on where you are, even if it's further south, you might have the salt trucks going right now. Be on the lookout for those pine siskins on the roadsides feeding on the salt for those nutrients. So something a little bit different to be on the lookout for, that you can look for when you're even just out driving. Other things to watch out for are going to be snow buntings, especially in fields. If you're driving through any kind of farmland and a kind of habitat that looks like this, keep an eye out for those snow buntings because they tend to be in flocks. You might see them on the side of the road, just maybe one or two, just kind of hanging out there. But in general, you'll see them flying low over fields in flocks. So I've noticed quite a few of them as I've kind of been driving around the back roads. Good amount of snow buntings out there. So this is a winter bird that we're not going to have here in the spring and summer, although the birds don't always follow those rules, as we'll see as we go on a little bit here with your sightings today. Also, snow geese have been keeping an eye on these snow geese and where they've been spotted, because they do have that huge migration that flows through this area where there's hundreds of thousands of them usually that will flock to fields and open water. So that's usually in February sometime. So been keeping an eye out for snow geese, and there have been some spotted around, especially down by the Finger Lakes in that area. Again, you can look for them in fields, just like those snow buntings. You might see the Canada geese as well as snow geese in those fields. So keep an eye out for them. And if you go by the water, you want to look out for those long-tailed ducks that are here in the winter too. So really beautiful, gorgeous bird that we have here in the wintertime. Same as tundra swan. We are seeing a mute swan here all the time, year round, but in the wintertime, we can also see tundra swan here. And you can identify them by that little yellow that is on their bill, in between their bill and their eye, is a good way to know you have yourself a tundra swan. And then snowy owls. There have been some scattered snowy owl reports. I was looking this morning to see what the latest and greatest is. It looks like there really haven't been many spotted in the past week or so, but I don't know that's due to them not being around, or a lot of people went to see them already and just haven't been going and reporting them as much. But they have been spotted around the Finger Lakes Airport. Has been a really good place to go look for the snowy owls. And then bald eagle as well. If you're going to look for ducks and anything out by the water, look for those juvenile bald eagles like on the left here. And then the adults that have that bright white head and bright white tail. If there's any open water that they can find, they will be around hunting for fish. So we have a whole bunch of photos to share with you today that have been sent in by Mark J., who is always out and about birding and is nice enough to send in his photos. This is a pretty good picture of what it looks like here. It's a very good example of what we've got going on here in the Rochester area. We've got some snow, we've got some ice. This is out at Arundecoit Bay, which is a great place to go looking for some of these birds. You can see the pier right there. The end of these piers are sometimes not even all the way at the end of the pier are going to be good places to look for snowy owls when you are looking for snowy owls. Arundecoit Bay is a great place to look out for snowy owls, and anywhere around Lake Ontario is usually a good place as well. But Mark sent in some photos here. Speaking of long-tailed duck, here is a picture of a long-tailed duck and then a pair of bald eagles, and this is pretty cool. This could be some mating behavior. Birds of prey tend to, when they've paired up, they tend to fly around together. So if you see a couple of red-tailed hawks or a couple of bald eagles like this flying together in pairs like this, that's usually a kind of mating ritual, a bonding ritual for the two of them. So don't be surprised if you see something like that around now. So this is a really cool photo sent in showing that behavior from Mark. And then a couple pictures from Tinker Nature Park. Here is a dark-eyed junco, and I've been seeing so many dark-eyed juncos around. They look exactly like this, at least here on the East Coast. They are gray with that white belly and pink bill. And when they fly, you can see the stripes on their tail feathers. They have white stripes on the edges of their tail feathers, which are pretty distinctive when they are in flight, pretty easy to identify. So lots and lots of dark-eyed junco around. I noticed a whole bunch yesterday while I was driving around, a ton of dark-eyed junco. And then a tufted titmouse. Cute photo here of a little tufted titmouse from Tinker Nature Park. But this I thought was really, really cool. Mark again sent in these photos from his yard of a pine warbler, which is not a typical bird that you will find around here this time of the year. That being said, sometimes there are some warblers that tend to be more hardy than others. I've mentioned a couple times that winter birding challenge that the Buffalo Audubon Society is putting on. One of the challenges, or one of the items in that challenge, is to look for warblers like the yellow-rumped warbler, which there will sometimes be some that spend the winter here. So it's not common at all to see warblers around here, but there's a hardy one right here that has been around for the past week or so, he said, in his yard. And you can see it's coming to the suet feeder in this picture. So it does like the suet, and he says he did send it to eBird, and it was confirmed. The bill was a big ID compared to a goldfinch. I was reading about the pine warbler, how they like suet, but definitely a neat sighting in January. So yeah, really, really cool thing you're not likely to see in January, but just goes to show you never know what you might see at your feeders. In the early spring, when we start to hear reports of warblers coming in, sometimes these pine warblers will come to feeders, and we once in a while will get people who are lucky enough to snap a photo of them who send those pictures in. So this is not your typical backyard feeder bird, but it is very, very possible to get them. So really cool sighting here sent in by Mark. This pine warbler here, very yellow bird. They've got those white wing bars here, those stripes on their wings. And its bill does look quite a bit different than a goldfinch. So you can see it does look, it's more yellow than the goldfinches this time of the year. And he also sent in some video. So let's check it out. So in that photo, or in that video, it's going not to the suet, it's in a suet feeder, but those are the Flaming Hot Feast cakes, which have peanuts in them. They have sunflower hearts. It has mealworms. So this bird is going to some things that are in there. There's something in there it likes. Wouldn't surprise me if it was eating the sunflower hearts and the mealworms in there. So really, really cool sighting there. Some photos and video of a pine warbler, very out of season, sent in by Mark J. So he also sent in some more photos. Here's a Carolina wren. He says Carolina wren resting on the sparrow bird bottle. Haven't seen one hop on there before. Yeah, this is an interesting kind of nesting feature, a little bottle. You can put them up on the side of a fence or any kind of flat structure, and sparrows will nest in them, chickadees sometimes. Looks like this Carolina wren is pretty interested in it, so could be checking out some nesting sites for the upcoming spring. So we're still a couple months out before the birds really start looking at nesting sites, but they are scouting some things out to see what's out there. Also, a neat sighting in the winter. We do have great blue herons that will stay if they can find open water. So usually most of the great blue herons are going to be flying further south where there's more open water, but you can find them here and there. And here's a photo that Mark sent in saying spotted a great blue heron ice fishing at the Erie Canal Widewater. So this great blue heron is not going to have much competition with other herons this time of the year. Here's some Mendon Ponds photos if you're going out that way to go to Birdsong Trail and feed the birds out of your hand. Keep an eye out for some of these the cast of characters here that you're likely to see on Birdsong Trail. Speaking of which, we will be leading a field trip with the Genesee Valley Audubon Society to Birdsong Trail next month, February 15th. We'll be out there at 10 o'clock, and we will have that. We just scheduled it, just confirmed with the Audubon Society that we're going in on it together. And so we'll have that up on our website by the end of the weekend. So you can join us there, and we might see things like this dark-eyed junco. Here is a fox sparrow, and you can see in the background, you can kind of see that there's a whole bunch of seeds and stuff. So the birds on Birdsong Trail, although that these won't all come to your hands, you probably won't get a junco coming to your hand or a big fox sparrow. You can see a really good diversity of birds sometimes as they visit that area to clean up all the little seeds that people have left behind. So here is a fox sparrow, really cool sighting there. And then an American tree sparrow, which is another winter visitor. And it's looking right straight ahead at us in the camera. I mean, you can still see that they have that bicolored bill. The top of it is black, and then the bottom part of their bill is yellow. Very good distinguishing characteristic there. And then here's a blue jay and a cardinal, also at Mendon Ponds. And another interesting bird that you can find around Mendon Ponds this time of the year where there's not a lot of vegetation for it to hide in is the Virginia rail. So that's been spotted there quite consistently over the Quaker Pond Trail, over at Quaker Pond, along the Quaker Pond Trail in Mendon Ponds. And then finally, here's a picture of a red-breasted merganser over at the Irondequoit Bay outlet. So cool diving duck that you can absolutely find here all winter long. Looks like there's some snow flurries flying in the background here. You can tell this is a red-breasted merganser and not a common merganser male because of its crazy plumage on its head. It's got those kind of ruffled feathers. The common merganser will have a very smooth feathered head. And then look at that bright red eye. So the red-breasted merganser, both male and female, will have a bright red eye where the common mergansers do not. So thank you guys for watching. It looks like there's some comments and questions maybe. Let's see. Randy is on and says, good morning. He says, last week there were 3 mourning doves in my yard. Are they early or stayed the season? They have stayed the season. So mourning doves will stay in the area all winter long. Sometimes they hunker down and they kind of hide away when it gets cold. So you just might not have seen them for a little bit. And now they're just venturing out maybe to get some food. But yeah, mourning doves are around all year long. We have them. Ed is on and says, earlier this week, when it was so bitterly cold and the ground was snow covered, I counted about 48 birds at our feeders over just a few minutes. mostly goldfinches, but there were at least half a dozen other species as well. They love the heated bird bath too. Yeah, we've had some very cold temperatures here, and putting out some bird seed can definitely draw a pretty good diversity of birds to your backyard when food is scarce and the weather is cold. And it sounds like they are even using his heated bird bath. Although it's been so cold, they still do need that water. So looks like that's everybody's comments and questions for the day. We'll be back on Tuesday with another broadcast. And until then, have a very great weekend. If you snap some photos of any birds, send them on in to us. And if you're in the area, stop on in because we've got lots of new stuff coming in and lots of stuff on sale too. So come on in and take advantage of that. Our sale goes for only 1 week. Our 50% off sale ends on Friday. So it ends on the 31st. So you still have several days to come in, but it is only for a limited time. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back on Tuesday with another broadcast. Bye-bye.